Hey, it's been a little coming at you with some Omega energy. Today, I'm feeling kind of weird, but not weird in I don't know this feeling. I've experienced it a time or two before. Excuse me, my nose already getting started. I've felt it a time or two before, and it's like a feeling of hyperness and a feeling of okay, what's the next thing that's coming? Kind of like that. I've been very open as of late about some of my experiences. Mostly, part of it is for my people to be able to understand a little bit better. So I feel there were times in which when I expressed myself in written form, it seemed all over the place. And sometimes it was all over the place. It's going through a lot. Now, I am fully aware that a lot of what I'm saying now and a lot of things that I'm doing now won't be fully expressed or understood until probably long after I'm gone from this place. We've said this before. And I'm fine with that on some level. But there's some level of me that is like, I am a human being that's going through having a human experience, and I'd like to experience that part of humanness, and that is that acceptance, that I don't know what you would call it. But at the same time, I do understand personal safety is more important than any of that. And so I try to be grown up about it, but I don't always have a great time being a grown up about it. I know the things that I'm feeling right now. It means that the next shift, the next wave is coming through. The next wave of energy. And when I say wave of energy, what I mean by that is, as of 2012, really, but more acutely as of 2019, there have been waves of energy coming through to progress mankind and to progress the planet to a space of balance or whatever it needs. And with each wave comes a specific set of energies that enact themselves. Now I've asked y'all to do this before, but I can ask y'all to do this again. I feel like if you watching me, you're in some level of understanding of what's going down, or you would like to know more. Okay? Again, no different than the concept I told you about the universe seeing it as a body. They just see everything as a body, as an ecosystem. Your body is an ecosystem. What goes on inside, underneath your skin is an ecosystem. Okay? Which each thing having its own set of duties within an ecosystem while also being autonomous in its own way. Okay? Self-serving autonomy in its own way. Okay? So, for example, the trees. We've often talked about how the trees are the lungs of Earth's ecosystem. Okay? Yes, they have their own autonomy, so they seek out certain things because certain things they prefer. Creeping vines creep where it's more comfortable to creep. Okay? Unless something prohibits it from creeping, the vines will creep. Understanding that, and in its metaphorical sense, see Earth and its ecosystem as your body. The Earth has a temperature right now, and as some people will say, well, we've had heat waves before. We have, but not like this. Not like this. This is the Earth's fever. And its immune system is reacting, and it has been reacting for quite some time now. And with each wave of things, it has been different waves of the immune system and the ecosystem reacting to its body's cells, us, behaving in such ways that is detrimental. I'm not the only one I know that perceives and understands the earth in its entirety in this way. I think humans think they are the center. I'm just playing on my wrist. I have something else to play with other than my stuff on my desk when my hands get a little nervous. My baby girl made me a bracelet, and I'm very proud of it. Anyway, the cellular structure of this body has been doing things that is that goes counterintuitive to a healthy body. It is very well known and aware, like everybody kind of has some awareness of this. Well, I'll tell you, full disclosure, initially, upon uh, receiving the initial last bit of upgrades that I received somewhere back in 2019, early 2020, I think it was 2019, yeah. After receiving it, my entire thought process and framework was first things first, I got to get people off my ass because I had a lot of people on my ass. Second things second, get rid of anything within my life and my structure. I ain't the only one that had them spiritual upgrades or awakenings or whatever that felt the need to rid themselves of anything and anyone that wasn't in some way serving some kind of purpose. Even if it's just friendship that is trustworthy, because that is like gold, especially right now. And as I was going through that process, I still in my mind had a framework that, hey, we can all work together and collectively do some stuff and save some things and change some things. But my assignment, I've come to the conclusion and understanding my assignment was a little different than everybody else's if they have an assignment. As it pertains to me being a cell within this big body, I have a specific design, just like each and every person out there. There are some cells that all do the same thing. In my mind, it could just be in my mind, in my imagination, people who receive upgrades, downloads, understood what was about to go down in different ways, in different frameworks, and different levels of understanding. Saw the writing on the wall, and I think that they are the brain cells. Truth be told. Hold on one second. Every now and again, when one of my babies text me or something, I always kind of look. I perceive them to be the brain cells. And those brain cells are telling the rest of the organism that the body is sick and there needs to be a reaction. It's real hard to make change if the rest of the body is calling the brain cells crazy or perceives the brain cells as crazy or inept. It's very hard to do anything with that because then it goes, these two functions are working against each other. Imagine it like someone who is going into hospitalization for mental illness that is in some way extreme. A lot of times they have psychosomatic symptoms that are physical as well. And the two things are working together in a sense to cause destruction to both the mind and the body. That's what sometimes I feel like is going down with the collective in general. I have a sense of peace within myself today, mostly because of several things. One, I've accepted my role. I'm real damn good at it. Two, I've had some really, really lovely things happen within my life and within just my everyday life. So the part of me that is autonomous and just me, that isn't this otherworldly being or something like that. I don't even know what to describe it, to be honest with you. The part of me that's just me, I get to enjoy living my life. I get to enjoy that through myself and others who I share love and joy, friendship and passion and all these things. So I get to do that in a way that is more me than ever has been. Because I'm not hiding myself. I have been hiding myself most of my life. I'm not hiding myself. Like, what happened? What happened? Now, for all intents and purposes, I'm still being hidden. And I guess that purpose is to protect me. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't care about that anymore either. Not really. Mostly because that part where I like this, the brain cells, that I felt like could have been working together this whole time to, if nothing else, we could deconstruct what wasn't working for humanity while also building something great for humanity, piece by piece, little by little. And it has been a hard thing to watch, see things build up only to be corrupted by a very, very sick body. I've mentioned a few of those things in previous videos more recently. And this is not a woe is me kind of a vibe. This is more of a, hey, if you know that you wanted a good cellular parts of this cellular body that is not causing harm and havoc, no different. And this is just my conjecture, but this is a very strong feeling, and it's okay to feel it. You can have it if you like it. If you one of those folks who have a conscious awareness of yourself and how you treat yourself and the vibration you let off and the things you do to yourself as well as others, you've gotten to a space of understanding those things while understanding you're not going to harm and hurt the environment as much as you possibly can. Okay, because we're all leaving a footprint. How much of a footprint you leave, that also matters. You're one of those people who saw the oceans, the rivers, the lakes coming back blue, and the animals seeming to thrive during a time where humans went to go sit down somewhere during COVID. You saw that and was like, you know what, humans need to sit down somewhere sometimes. Humans need to do less of what they've been doing. You saw the togetherness and the beauty of the people in Italy singing to each other from the rooftops. And the kindness, the acts of kindness, especially in the initial waves of it. If you saw those things and realized that's what human beings could be all the time. And we weren't distracted by stupidity. And we weren't just distracted by silliness, ugliness, and I'm going to just say it, evil. That's what human beings could truly be without all the noise. If you're one of those people who felt that, then you're probably part of the cellular structure of the body that isn't diseased or cancerous. And if that be so, I would assume that you shouldn't worry. Because not any immune system, sometimes it'll do things it ain't supposed to do, like somebody who has lupus. But in general, the immune system is helpful. The fever you get is a fever you need to have to burn off whatever is going down inside your body. The fever is actually there to help you, believe it or not. If it gets too hot, it can be problematic, but the initial stages of a body temperature raising because of the immune response is to burn off illness. And a lot of this is the body of Earth, the collective ecosystem of each one of us cells. The body is recognizing the problem. It reminds me of that movie, The Happening. You know, with Mark Wahlberg, Mother Nature is pissed and sick of our shit. And I'm not going to say because no, I'm not contributing to that. Now, you can contribute. You can be blessed with the concept in mind of being a naturalist and all these things, but if you ugly vibrationally to others, just to be ugly to others all the time, and you have this air of condescendence and superiority, which makes others feel small, and you are aware of that and you like that type of vibration, then you are still contributing to sickness. Because we are emitting frequencies out of our bodies with everything that we feel and everything that we do. So, in essence, making someone else feel like shit, you are actually contributing to the illness that is. You know what I say? Have you ever done that? Yeah, I absolutely have made people feel like shit. And there are moments in which to this day I'm like, that was justified. I needed to do what I needed to do to protect myself. But then there are other times I'm just like, I could have been a little bit soft on that. But either way, Does that matter at this moment? Not a whole lot. If you feel like, okay, yeah, I can see where I was responsible for some things. Okay, this is not me preaching at you. This is me talking to you and telling you. You have an opportunity right now to switch up your vibe and choose not to do that. Every single time, and I mean every single time, you could have not, and you choose to, make another human being feel like shit about themselves intentionally, then there it is. You're part of the problem. This is just my assessment. You ain't gotta believe me. Now, you might say, what about this, this, and this? Well, some people are already so damn internally ruined. I say ruined inside because there's some structures within them that hate themselves, and instead of working on those things, they project that out to others. So hurting them is like batting an eyelash wrong, or looking at them wrong, or saying something unintentionally wrong. They decide they want to take it to the ceiling with the anger and the rage. I'm not talking about that. These extra sensitive folks are also part of the problem. I said what I said. What we doing? I'm not trying to hurt nobody. My intent is to help. Now, even with that said, there's not much left to do. When I come on here and talk now, there's not much left to do. I've said I was going to say on my personal page on Facebook, okay? And I've been telling you about that. I've been saying it for years. I'm saying what it's going to say. Personally, I feel some type of way sometimes, and I've worked through a lot of that, but personally, I feel some type of way about some of the things that could have been prevented. Like, we saw the stark difference in the planet from us sitting down somewhere and not doing so much. And yet, it took less than a year with everything opening back up for us to start doing the same amount of damage that we were previously doing because of boredom. But here's the most evil part of that. Some people are unaware of how much damage they do by doing so much. Some people are so emotionally and mentally broken, they feel like they always have to be doing something in order to be okay. I feel alright. I can tell you right now, these children call something dead rotten. I'm like, sisters and bros, y'all adorable. Y'all didn't invent that. People who have a sense of self and don't need to do all this stuff and understand that relaxation is a part of their self-care has been doing that for a long time. I do that all the time. It's like, why don't you have any wrinkles? First of all, genetics, but second of all, I chill whenever I feel like it. Period. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I use no medication, no injections, no shots. I de-stressed and decluttered my life. And my kids grew up. Not that my kids were just a big stress. No, but raising kids is stressful. If I showed y'all a picture of myself when I was still raising kids and married, and juxtaposition to next to myself right now, y'all would think I was two different people. Y'all would think that was my mama. The age regressed backwards because of the declutter and the de-stressing of the life. On top of some other magical things, but that was the biggest part. Mm-hmm. In my mind, sometimes I see these people who have their kids in all these type of activities. Because they're like, we have to have this one and dance and soccer ball and all this. And for what? Why can't they just go play? And that's what I think is lost. Even at school, they don't have recess. Because we have to study for tests and get more and more academics pushed into here. They got to constantly be doing something, constantly be working. They can't just relax from when they're little people. They can't just relax. because you can't relax. You weren't allowed to relax, so you don't know what that is. You let somebody else relax, that don't even make sense. It's like, but the moment the children are children, you put a device in front of their face. Ironic, saying considering I'm on a device, but I'm not talking to children right now. I'm talking to grown folks or people who are about to be grown folks. So hopefully I'm not talking to children because I don't have it set that I'm talking to children. But those of you who understand, the moment you have a kid, you've decided to have a child and raise a child. And I know that sounds preachy, and I don't care at this point. What does it matter? Because one thing I'll tell you that's coming next is a lot of the things that a lot of folks think matter will be shown to not matter at all. There will be no division between the wealthy and the not wealthy financially. There'll be no division of anything. The more privileged you are or have been in your life, that might end up being an albatross, because you're going to have some robustness to be able to deal with what's coming next in this wave that's here coming. Like, I'm not here to do, like, I would do the astrology and all that. That's fun for me. But I got the vibe. I got the download. I got the message from my higher self, understanding that it was time to start speaking my truth, but also start finishing up the last little bits of what I need to get out of me and send that energy out. I did what I needed to do. Now, and that was for me. Now, if it helps somebody, but if it don't, if nothing else, there will be no confusion about my thoughts and my feelings or my story and different parts. Now, there's some things I've kept to myself, mostly out of kindness to others. Still, you can speak your truth and still be kind. Okay? There is a balance you can have there somewhere. But it's my understanding at this time, we're at the last little bit of what is perceived to be anything that will appear to be normalcy. You may say, well, that ended in 2019, honey. Let me tell you something that you may not know. 2019 on was a test run. 2019 on has been mercy, in the sense that each wave came with its own set of lessons and things for humanity to see and adjust to. And I'm not gonna lie, some things were adjusted to. We have less of some of the things that were problematic than we had before, for sure. But I will tell you, if there are still bigots out there who see melanin in someone's skin and automatically assume something's wrong with that human being based on just that, I hope you have some kind of melanin popping friends or relatives that care about you, because you ain't gonna be able to go outside without none of them. And it's gonna be hilarious to see some of them folks walking around in burgers. I'm just saying, no, it's gonna get that extreme. And you might think, well, is this fear-based? No, I ain't afraid, and neither should you be. I assume that I'm talking to the folks who have not yet stocked up with their canned goods and fresh bottles of water, has something to catch rainwater with, has figured out cultivation of plant life, things like this, and has some idea in their mind of what they're going to do if the power goes out, because there are going to be waves of that too. And even though that would be inconvenient, you know what else is inconvenient? Like, it's so weird. The juxtaposition of seeing people go crazy over cats and dogs on the internet that need to be adopted, and just, oh my God, let me adopt this cat. This sad animal that needs to be adopted. But animals in the wild every single day, they can use you to stay home sometimes and stop doing so much sometimes. They can have you just change up your lifestyle just a little bit to adjust to allow them to fit in. Y'all don't give a, the same people don't give a damn about that. Not one single damn about that. It's just so weird to see that pushed up next to each other in everyday life. I think part of this conversation today is about saying, if somebody out there that isn't one of them folks, or not sure if they're one of them folks, or didn't get them downloads, or isn't cultivating to see where they got space in their pantry to put extra canned goods and plant life and whatnot, they're not jarring anything to save for later yet. Or if they're confused about anything that's been going on with a lot of people in a spiritual sense. Because I'm not saying everybody's the real deal, because as a matter of fact, I would say the majority of them are full of shit. That's been my experience. Okay? The majority. There's a lot of people out there pretending to be something they ain't. And I said what I said. What they gonna do? Hex me some more? I still am. Anyway, I assume I'm talking to folks who understand that, but if I'm not, it's just like when you ask, or anybody you perceive, and they're like, I wonder why all this is happening. Why? This is a conversation about why. Okay? We have enough grown-ups on this planet right now for everybody to behave like grown-ups, but nobody really want to be the grown-up. There's a lot of things happening behind closed doors that has been happening for quite some time. Because human beings, no different than, do you go inside your body? Can you take your eyeballs and look inside your body, down your throat, and see what your cells are doing? And even if you could, would you care? As long as the body is functioning and working, you don't care. It is not until you experience pain that you take your ass to the doctor and get a scope or something. I need y'all to start thinking of other things that way. And so pain is being experienced on a regular and routine basis from the different forces that be. So you can have an ulcer sitting there for years and years and years and wouldn't know nothing about it unless it starts causing you pain. So there is an awareness, and has been an awareness. Come on, Empress, calm down. There is, I need to calm myself down. She's reacting to my energy. Let me calm down. If y'all don't know Empress is my red girl downstairs. She's my little pig. Sometimes she'll interrupt me when I'm talking. Anyway, there is an awareness that yes, there have been awful things going on that is counterintuitive to living a fulfilling life, like human trafficking, abuse, almost everything that goes on behind the scenes in Hollywood, as well as in politics and just about every country, especially the United States and England. There is an awareness. But it wasn't enough to cause pain to the extent where a doctor need to be seen, I don't think. That's just my humble opinion. But I think the human populace and all those things, plus people's apathy and lack of hope, caused enough pain for action to be necessary. So if you're wondering why, that's why. And here's the thing, I know I sound annoyed, because on a personal level, I really just wanted to be a person who's loved and cherished, who also loves and cherishes, that has a day job, is a therapist, and someone who is just in a helping profession and live my life in a kind of an ordinary way, but it's still successful at what I do. And there's a part of me that still longs for that version of myself. And this is the part that's therapy for me, y'all. So please bear with me. That wasn't to be. That was never going to be. And there's a part of me that gets, I do calm myself down, but it gets incensed by it. Because when we all set our asses down during COVID and some of the changes people made, it shows me that everyone, in some kind of way, at least the majority of human beings on the planet, are quite capable of not being this. It's not, at first I thought it was an incapability, need to be taught to see. Now I know it's a level of not giving a damn and apathy. And so many people losing hope. They need something to believe in. Well, you gotta believe in yourself enough to know that how powerful you are. I try to tell you. And the truth be told, you ever this is something the parents out there, probably only the parents or relatives or caregivers that are with children enough to know. Whenever you ground your kids, you ground yourself in that sense. Whenever you put your kids in a corner, you have to sit there and watch them and make sure they don't get out of the corner and they learn a lesson. And as long as they're misbehaving and acting a fool and you have to keep grounding them over and over again, you got to keep monitoring them even more acutely until you figure out what the thing is going to be to get them to act in a way that is not so harmful to themselves and other people, while also keeping them alive. That's the vibration I experience on a regular basis. I get tired sometimes, while also being extremely disrespected on a regular basis as well. It's like, and I can't risk doing anything about it. And I still have both pride and ego. So I literally have to constantly transmute disrespect while also holding that vibration. I'm here to tell y'all, the relief comes with understanding that doing that was not a bad thing. It helped me work on myself a lot. And I'm in a serene place of comfort with my concept of self, my ideas, as well as my actions. Like any other parent would be, I guess, I suppose. That's the way the metaphor of parenting comes to mind as it pertains to such things. There are going to be times where I still feel like, okay, maybe this is something that could teach somebody something. But mostly, I sit and people watch and laugh. Have y'all seen at these concerts, these children is throwing things at these people performing? That is hilarious. That's hilarious. Wasn't he just preaching at everybody about their behavior? Honey, that is the least of humankind's concerns. That is the least of humanity's concerns. So laughing at something like that to me is like a break. It's like, there's a lot of people out there that I'm confused as hell about too. Because in my mind, it's like, as I was learning and becoming more and more myself. I'm like, y'all actually want to do this? Why do you want to do this? People call themselves star seeds and shamans and all these things. I'm like, look, I'm not mad at you for calling yourself that. But like, why do you want to do it? It's not a pleasure. Sometimes it is. My day job is like a respite. We talked about this. I get to talk to my clients, talk to my students. They're a pleasure. But everything that I have to do work-wise outside of that, no. there are times where it is pleasurable when I see things growing and moving. But when I work on something to aid and assist those around me in some kind of way, and then I see it corrupted, because again, this body is so sick, I try not to have no feelings or emotions about it, no attachments to it whatsoever. And I've failed at that sometimes, but mostly now, I don't have attachments to it. I accept what is. The body is so sick that no matter how much light you put into it or not, how much medicine you put into it, it requires something much stronger. And my hope is still, it's got that whisper, that enough of humankind get together and decide that we don't want to pollute everything. We understand what causes pollution. We understand what causes hurt and harm to others. We understand autonomy too. And I'm talking to you, religious people. Come here. Intentions being good, okay. Your intentions are good, so should your consciousness and your truth telling. Okay. Oh, understanding that, I know this is running long and I don't care at this particular point. Again, a lot of my words are not going to be seen by many people until after I'm long gone. So I'm not worried about it. The Council of Nicaea should have been a clear thing that people across the board in every religion should understand. That means that human beings and their opinions took different parts of historical text and different belief structures, including paganism, and added those all together to try to create a framework for everyone to agree on, because they were doing a lot of those things back then that you people are doing now. They were hurting each other. It was causing wars unnecessarily over belief structures. So they got together and took everybody's belief structures, put them together in different stories in one book, and told everybody you're included. But the problem with that is, again, the historical context matters. Beating everybody and pillaging and doing all these things, these acts to cause everybody to get on board with this one framework. I understand why it was done, but it should have been told, the truth should have been told about that. That is my assessment of things. The truth should have been told about this so everybody knows that all these things matter. No one thing is dismissed. It is understood that a group of men got together and decided what went in there. You don't make what's in there wrong, false, or whatever. Understand that every culture's stories are in that one book. Not just one culture. Every culture's stories are in that one book. That's what makes it powerful and why it endures. But there's also lies in that one book. But those lies were not the original text. And none of the original stories, that those parts that are not the truth, wasn't part of the original story. These are things that were added by folk and edited by folks. It's like when you see the name King James Version, I'm just like, there's a guy, a real guy, that was King James, that decided how he wanted the Bible to look now, according to his taste. And you are guiding your life by someone else's who is dead's opinion. The great thing about having an awareness of conscience is understanding that allegorical text and framework like the Bible or other texts like the Torah. The Gita also, I think, out of the three, the Gita gives me a little bit more concepts of peace. Personally, that's just me personally, my personal preference. Not that I subscribe to any particular religion, because I do not. I don't need to be a decent human being. But however, I digressed. Understanding the allegorical concept context is enough. None of the things in those books tell you you have to do or be anything. You don't have to call yourself by any name. Just be kind to yourself and the body you live in and are amongst as much as you possibly can. You still can compete with each other for the best whatever. You're still going to do the different things and have fulfilling lives, but you don't have to destroy each other over it. Belief structure, that's the least thing you want to fight over. But people still do. My hope is that in the future that we still respect all the old ancient texts for the wisdom and leave all of the things that make you beat each other over the face in the past. But then again, I'm only talking to the folks who will have the ears to listen and eyes to see what I'm saying, I think. And if you haven't had that concept put on board yet, hopefully you will soon. This is not about even perfection. It's not even a statement about morality. It's about balance and imbalance. We've talked about this before. I wish I can tell you that the parts of me that really wanted to feel like this was something amazing, miraculous, and great are still in my forefront. Things I've had to endure and do, but also things that I understand and know. No, I guess I'm not like the rest of the people who call themselves starseeds or shamans or gurus or whatever. Because I will tell you the hardship of this is not something that I can actually fully put in words. But I can also tell you the relief at this particular time. Understanding that, okay, we're getting to some place that is close to change. I told you the first initial stages, last 3 years, 4 years or so, that it's been like the wake-up call. But if everybody don't wake up, what's the point? Ain't nobody gonna keep splashing you with water if you ain't got the bed stirred. It's like that. And I thought earlier today, I was like, at a certain point, I was just so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I swear. It's beautiful, and it, to me, when I think about it, it's simplicity, but I also feel sad for her. You know? I went to my friends and extended family and anybody I could think of that I saw as I saw myself. At least in its potential. Like, hey, here's what's about to go down. Well, not everything. But we definitely need to band together so that we can start to create the world we'd like to live in, not the world we've been given. Also, like the planet is dying. I didn't say that part, but yeah, that was like behind it. And then some people stayed on for a little while. And then other people was like, nah, I can't do that. I have a life, and I have this, and I have that, and I have that going on. And I'm like, and I understood, completely like forgiving. And then over time, I became a little bit bitter because more and more and more was put on my back to handle. And I was like, okay, but don't y'all want to like survive? But don't y'all want to do something? So it's not enough. And I'm going to tell you some side note about me. I get extremely incensed when I see people change their profile pictures and stuff like that on social media apps to support a cause they're not actually supporting in real life. Like, miss me with it. Miss me entirely with it. That is like the worst form of social engagement to me. That's just my personal assessment. Because truly, you know nothing about the topic. You do nothing to actually aid and assist it. You just wanted people to see how great of a person you are. But you ain't actually doing shit other than changing your profile picture. Well, I'm tired and I'm this. The reason why everybody's always tired and apathetic is because you allow people to allow all of the things that have become cancers and ulcers in our society to continue to kick your ass over and over again. And you go along with it because you want people to see you as successful. You want people to see you as this thing that you are not. And then everybody gets to look at you and say, hey, look at that successful person. Look at that popular person. Look at that beautiful person. And I'll tell you something about beauty standards. It changes over time for a reason because y'all all influence each other. Not many of you think for yourself. Even though that is the side effect of being a part of a body. You can tell who the kidneys are. You can tell who the urethra is. You can definitely tell who the anuses are. It pertains to this big old body. You definitely tell. Because they all act alike. Personally, yeah, I'm not gonna say that. That seems like it would be a bit mean for no reason. And considering all I know right now at this very moment, it won't matter. But yeah, I don't even know why I even started going on that tirade. I just did, y'all. But more of it is to be, I guess, as vulnerable as possible, but while also telling you the truth. Because I don't think enough of that happens. Truth be told. Even myself, I've been in danger of it over and over and over again. And I tell you, just like those people, like I'll ask them when I was still bright eyed, bushy tailed, and have so much sparkle in my eye. The same people, if they ask me why tomorrow, not tomorrow, but in about 8 days, so I ask them why. Things are shifting and changing in a way that's uncomfortable for everyone. Now you want to know from me specifically. But if you want to know from me specifically, you probably should have been with me this whole time. That's how I feel about that. Now I don't know tea, no shade shit. It's just more like, you know, you had an opportunity to change things and you wanted your comfort. So stay comfortable in not knowing like everybody else. That's how I feel about it right now. And this whole time it would have been nice to have aid and assistance and not constant pushback and constant theft of my identity and theft of my concepts and theft of everything that is me. And some of that you might think is flattery. I'm like, I don't see that as flattery. This is a piss poor example of someone trying to be me without actually being me or doing the work to be me. I find it insulting. Although my vibration and my energetic vibration carries, so I know sometimes it's not even intentional. So I don't look at it. Where I am right now is a place of peace in so many ways. So I've been validated in a way that I can't even begin to describe in English words. And for a time, for a good 2-3 weeks, it was like, this is beautiful, and it still is. But now I know something additionally than I didn't know this every single time. I know this is running long, y'all, but please bear with me. Every single time I'm about to endure something, find out something, just happen to woosah something, right before some wonderful stuff happens. And this is why I don't always trust it, because I'm like, what y'all finna do now? Because it's still kind of like that. Anyway, this time around, though, it doesn't feel so harsh. It doesn't feel so weight-bearing. This time around, it kind of feels relieving. Because I don't know if you ever try to turn a tide on something. Or store a big pot with heavy stuff in it. I don't know what metaphor to use here right now, but It's been a long road of beautiful mystery and concepts, but also a lot of awful shit that I've witnessed and wish I can forget. So at this time, that I've been told, hey, the next wave is about to start, and you know what that means. I'm like, okay, it's a wave. See, there is a shift, and then there's a wave. See, December 2019, around about that was both a shift and a wave. The beginning of 2020 was a wave. Okay? That was a wave. By March, the wave had hit shore. And that's how it goes down. So this wave is not, and then before the waves were more about, let me show you something real quick. So baby, come here. It's almost like if someone, maybe a little musty or something, and you're kind, and you're starting to see people talk. So you grab the person and you pull them to the side and say, come here, baby, let me talk to you. Now, you know this person's going to feel some type of way about you telling them. But you know the act of kindness is to tell them so they can go freshen up. Because people going to talk about them. Okay? 2020, 2021, 2022, and most of 2023 was somebody telling y'all, humanity, you musty. Let me show you, baby. Go freshen up. Ain't nobody gonna tell you you musty no more. If you come to the event musty 3 different times, and if you have a glandular problem, you need to have the medicated deodorant, or you just not learning what is being taught to you. Okay? You deserve to get talked about. Maybe. I don't know. I would probably still tell a person. But you understand what I'm saying? And for the longest time, I didn't understand why I was getting the reactions I was getting from some people. Some people, it's just been lovely and beautiful. But some people, it's been awful. And then I remembered who I am. And maybe they can truly see me. And maybe in my light, they see their darkness, or vice versa. Does it matter really? It don't. Because I still do and be who I be. And in life in general, my hope is going to get a bit easier, because I ain't trying to tell nobody they must no more. Not really. I say things here and there now. I ain't trying to, I try to do all I'm going to do. It's not very easy being a person. I know some people might think it's easy being a person. It's not. And therefore, the 3 years of being told you're musty. But I think Mother Nature is fighting back now. I ain't no sense of getting mad at Mother Nature. You can't whoop her ass. And by Mother Nature, I mean this body is healing itself by any means necessary. And I welcome it at this particular juncture. Because I think the good cells, the cells doing appropriate things within the body, that it is their vibration to do. They're not going out their way to cause harm or hurt to the kidneys if they're intestinal cells. They're doing the job of who they feel they need to be for themselves, but also they're not trying to intentionally cause harm to others. While also being some kind of hopeful light in this world, I think they're going to be just fine. Personally. Some people think, oh, it's going to be this group of people or that group of people because of what they believe. You can say that if you want to, but that's not it either. I can guarantee you that right here, right now. It's based on your vibration. Are you a disease or are you not disease, fam? Are you part of the problem or are you not part of the problem, fam? Period. Well, if they're gay, no. That ain't it either. Are they terrible people to themselves and other people? That matters. That's the only thing they ever has. And you might say, again, I'll tell you another secret before I wrap because I'm almost at an hour. Wanna know who's really doing it? The body itself. It is tired of being sick. It's either going to die or it's going to fight back. And you know, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody at the end of life. I've seen enough. When people decide to let go, you can tell. There's a difference between someone who's still fighting for life and somebody who's accepted death. Some of the body has accepted death. As it pertains to the collector, excuse me, y'all, my eyes are itching and I'm just not going to let that happen. But some of it still got some fight left in it, some hope for a better humanity, for a better system, for a better earth in general, for a healed earth. You know what? It takes a lot of strength to keep that hope in this place. And I hope they still keep it. Because that's the light that's what keeps the lights on, kids. Because otherwise this place will die with everything in it. And truth be told, from what I understand, it just will be receded. Human beings are really not that fucking important. Anyway, y'all loved.